Hello, good day all. Welcome to another edition of OzUncut as we finally get back to proper football this weekend as the international break of boredom is over and we're back to both Premier League and Italian Serie A action. And what we're going to do here today is, of course, review all the games, all the big games happening in the Premiership and in Italy this weekend. We're going to give you some thoughts and some reviews on said games. And I'm also going to give you the Ozman's tips as to who I think is going to win and who's going to be successful over the weekend. Let's start with the Premier League and Saturday's matches. First game of the weekend will be a 2:30 kickoff Central European time, and it will be Manchester City versus Liverpool. I stand corrected. It will be a 1:30 Central European time kickoff. Manchester City versus Liverpool. Now, this is probably the toughest fixture to predict in terms of a winner and a loser. Why, you might ask? Well, both teams are pretty unpredictable. Both teams have what you might call questionable defenses. Both teams like to control the ball. Both teams also like to play an attacking style of football, which means that both teams will leave some open spaces. I think Liverpool have had the upper hand in this fixture in the past. Man City do like to play their football, and that means if Liverpool do decide to sit back and hit them on the counterattack, I think Liverpool have a good chance of winning. However, of course, if Man City do manage to get a grip on the game and control it quite well, and if Liverpool start to get frustrated, that could also be a problem. If, of course, both teams go gung-ho, who knows what could happen. I would say that we could get a lot of goals in this game. I just want to say categorically that I hate everything about Manchester City. I hate the fact that they were a decent club before and were bought by a Middle Eastern state, had a couple of £billion boosted into the club, and since then have spent their way to the top or near the top. That, as a pure footballing person, that upsets me and I don't like it, and that's why I don't like Man City. On the other side, though, I can see what they've built is extremely impressive. So, a part of me says, well done, Man City fans must be delighted with what's happened, but the purist footballer in me says, yeah, I don't like it. They've just bought their success so far. It could just be sour grapes because Liverpool have not really won much in the past 30 odd years. A few trophies here and there, but I know there's a purist in me. I wouldn't like that to happen to Liverpool. I guess I'd accept it if it did, but I'd rather see us build up a proper business model and achieve success that way. So, who do I predict will win the game? I just don't know. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on this game at all. Too unpredictable. So, the Ozman says, do not bet on Man City versus Liverpool. And if you do, you know more than me, and you've got courage. Moving on to the 4 o'clock kickoffs. Arsenal against Bournemouth. Arsenal have had a terrible start to the season, no doubt about that. The last game they played in the Premier League against Liverpool, they were a disaster. They had no organization. There was no fire in the belly. There was no spirit within the team. It just looked like almost a dead goat trying to get around the field, most of the players. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. I don't think they're permanently that way, and I predict they will sneak a win against Bournemouth this coming Saturday. They've still got some good players in there. They've still got Alexis Sanchez. They've still got Ozil. They've still got players like Theo Walcott, who can be quite devastating, whether he plays or not. They've still got Peter Cech in goal, who makes a difference to the team. So they've still got a good basis to win games. They won't win the title. I think they'll struggle to get top 4, but I think they will win against Bournemouth this weekend. Bournemouth, good club. but I think they've done the sensible business thing. They haven't gone crazy in terms of spending since they got into the Premier League, and I think that is going to hold them in good stead. I still think they'll be a mid-table team. I'm recording this on a Friday afternoon where there's rain and lightning outside. Interesting. So yes, Arsenal to beat Bournemouth just. Next game, Brighton against West Brom, also a 4 o'clock kickoff. Brighton, brand new into the Premier League. They have a beautiful new stadium. They did extremely well in the Championship last year. Do I think they're going to win this game this weekend? No. Why do I not think that? 2 reasons. Number 1, Brighton are struggling to get goals. Whilst defense is very, very important and could win you a league if you've got an excellent defense, you still need goals, no matter what. You can't win games without goals, and I think Brighton are struggling on the goals side of things. I also like what I've seen from West Brom, and this is the second reason I'm going for them this weekend. They're compact. They've got Tony Pulis, who knows how to win football games with rubbish squads. Sorry, Brummies, or Brommies, I don't even know what they call them, West Brom fans. He does. He knows how to put a squad together that can win ugly. And they've had a good start to the season. They've already proved extremely difficult to beat. And for that reason, I'm going with a West Brom win away to Brighton. Next game, Everton Spurs, 4 o'clock kickoff. What do I say about this game? Everton have, of course, built impressively over the summer. 6 or 7 quality signings coming into the club. However, of course, Wayne Rooney, will he play this weekend after being charged with drink driving last weekend? I'm not so sure. Spurs they've had an up and down start to the season. Probably not as good as they would have liked, but they are still a quality side. This one will be an interesting game. Also very, very difficult to predict. But I'm relatively confident we're going to see a draw in this game. Maybe a 1-1 draw, something like that. I think both teams will get a goal. But I think it will be a stalemate at Goodison Park. Leicester against Chelsea, 4 o'clock kickoff. The champions against the former champions. So it's going to be an interesting game. I like Leicester under their new manager, Craig Shakespeare. Everything just seems to be together, which I think is great. Chelsea have had an up and down start to the season. They miss Eden Hazard a lot. Still no word exactly as to when he will be back, but he's a key part of their team. But they still have a very, very good team. Of course, Diego Costa is still on the books as well, and that sort of cloud is hanging over Chelsea's head. It's going to be a close game, but I see Chelsea sneaking this one. I think Chelsea 2-1. I think Chelsea will be just too strong. It'll be interesting to see if Danny Drinkwater, who signed for Chelsea from Leicester on deadline day, it'll be interesting to see if he is going to play for Chelsea this weekend against his old club. Chelsea win, says OzUncut. Southampton, Watford. I'm picking Watford to win. They look like they can score loads of goals. They've got a very, very good manager in Silva. They've got some really good attacking options up front. They look fluid. They look like they can defend quite well as well. And on the other side, I'm just not impressed with where Southampton have gone the last couple of years. I think they lack real options in attack. I think that Maurizio Pellegrino, who is the new coach for Southampton, I think he's still a bit of an unknown quantity in the Premier League, even though he did work under Rafa Benitez some years ago. I think he still needs to prove himself, and there just seems to be something not right about Southampton at the moment. So I'm going for a Watford win away at St Mary's. Final game in the Premier League on Saturday, Stoke against Manchester United. Stoke have been a bit of a hoodoo team for United in the past. I'll say that again, a hoodoo team. But Stoke is a bit different these days from those days. Stoke like to play football on the ground instead of just hoofing it up and trying to get the second balls. On the other side, Manchester United are much more physical than they used to be as well. So it's almost been a reverse of fortunes for both clubs in terms of style and approach. I think Man United will be too strong. They've had a great start to the season. I don't think that will continue for much longer, but I see it being the case this weekend. I still think Man United will get a win. So I say at the Britannia Stadium, Stoke 1, Manchester United 3 will be the full-time score. Manchester United to win. Sunday, Crystal Palace away to Burnley. Do I need to say much? Palace is a shambles. Burnley, they just stayed up last season. I'm going to pick a draw. Swansea against Newcastle. I'm going for Swansea in this one. I love Rafa Benitez, you know. I love Rafa. But I don't think Newcastle travel too well. And they've got a fair distance to go. And besides that, I just really like Swansea's manager. I think he's fantastic, and I think he's doing an excellent job. Wilfred Bonney is back with Swansea, so I think he'll make a difference to them. They've also had one or other two very, very decent signings, including Renato Sanchez, who's on loan for the season from Bayern Munich. So that should be an interesting game. I'm going for Swansea. And Monday night, West Ham, the Hammers against Huddersfield. Huddersfield have had a great start to the season, first time in the Premier League. But I see that ending this weekend. West Ham, whilst they have had a bunch of problems so far this season, I just think they will pull out of it this time around. They're home. I would hope they're starting now after a season to get used to their new stadium. They've still got a relatively good squad that includes a lot of very, very talented players. And I just think they'll bounce back this weekend. So I'm looking for West Ham to beat Huddersfield on Monday. Shall we talk Italy? The Serie A. It's been a good start to the season for the usual suspects. So Juventus have had a good start to the season. Inter have had a very good start to the season. AC Milan looking okay. I think you've also got teams such as Napoli looking good again. Very, very solidly run club. Let's run through the fixtures this weekend. Saturday night, Juventus against Chievo is the early game at 6 o'clock. Can you see anything other than a Juventus win? I don't think so. Juventus to win easily against Chievo. The other game, Sampdoria against Roma, is the 8:45 kickoff. I see this one being a draw, I've got to be honest with you. I think Roma have lost a bit of their luster since losing Spalletti in the summer to Inter. I think Sampdoria have had a very, very good start to the season, and I just see this one being a draw. I'm not 100% sure, but if I was going to bet on it, that's what I'd say. Sampdoria 0, Roma 0, and a goalless draw. Inter against newly promoted Spal. I think it'll be an easy win for Inter. They've looked really, really good this season so far. I think the fact that they managed to keep Ivan Perisic and he has now signed a new deal up until 2022, I think that was their biggest signing of the summer, and great business for Inter keeping one of their star players. Bit of a surprise that Ranocchia is back after, well, a dodgy few seasons. He spent the last couple of seasons out on loan, in fact. But he's back as the third choice center back. Will be interesting. And of course, the very talented Mauro Icardi, who is actually one of my favorite players in the Italian Serie A. The Argentinian is supremely talented, fantastic player, and I can only see an Inter win. I'm sorry, Spal fans, if there's any of you out there watching this, but I would say Inter, a very, very easy win. That's Sunday at 12:30 lunchtime in the afternoon. The 3 o'clock games, Atalanta against Sassuolo. Atalanta I should say, have had a terrible start to the season. Sassuolo are what you would call now your quintessential mid-table Italian team. I'm going for a Sassuolo win this weekend just because I like the name Sassuolo and because I think Atalanta are terrible. So Sassuolo to win. Cagliari against Crotone, two teams that have had a very poor start to the season. I'm going for a draw because I couldn't pick a winner, but I just feel there will be a draw there. Lazio against AC Milan. AC Milan spent a lot of money in the summer. I think that Lazio also did a bit of good business, and I think both will be expected to be in the top 6 by the end of the season. but I'm just going to go with AC Milan this weekend. I think they will start to click sooner or later, and I think this weekend might be the time. So I know it's a bit difficult after an international break, but I just see Lazio's form as being a bit topsy-turvy, and I think AC Milan will get the win. Udinese against Genoa. Yeah, not a great start for both teams, really. I think this will be a draw as well. I can see a goalless or a scoring draw. So a 0-0 or maybe a 1-1 in that game. Verona against Fiorentina. Again, two teams that have not had the greatest start to the season. Fiorentina currently at the foot of the table. I can see this one being a draw as well, especially considering Verona are at home. So I'm going for a draw in that game. Benevento against Torino. Torino have had a good start to the season. I watched a bit of their game before the international break, and they actually looked pretty solid. Some good movement on the ball, good movement off the ball. I'm fancying them to have a win this weekend against Benevento. And of course, the final game, the late kickoff on Sunday, is Bologna against Napoli. I do like Napoli as a club. I cannot deny that. I think they're run well by their owner, De Laurentiis. I think they have a very, very good coach and a very, very good squad of players. I would expect them to finish in the top 3 in Italy this year, and that means I am going for a Napoli win. I also love Pepe Reina, of course, former Liverpool goalkeeper. So I'm definitely looking for Napoli to take the points against Bologna at the weekend. I thought we'd end the session today with the OzUncut Acca. Yes, if you're a bit of a gambling man or woman and you do love your accumulators like I do. In fact, I only really play accumulators because I find them extremely challenging and loads of fun. This is the OzUncut Acca for the week. I'm going to put a little bet on this, and if you want to support me by doing so yourself, good luck to you. I'm going with West Brom to win, Manchester United to win, Inter to win, Juventus to win, and Napoli to win. Won't get you great odds, but I think it's a good chance of winning, and that's what I'm going to throw on this weekend. That's been another review for you. We're going to do this every single Saturday morning before... Oh, I just got a message. Every single Saturday morning before each footballing weekend. You have yourselves a great weekend, and if your team is playing this weekend, good luck, unless you're a United fan. Ciao, ciao.